Welcome to a new venue on the mountain bike circuit, the charming town of Maribor. The Diesel UCI Mountain Bike World Cup has come to Slovenia for the very first time. It's the second round of the downhill, and all the riders have come to take a crack at Mount Pohorje, that towers almost 1,000 metres over the town. Maribor, only a few miles from Slovenia's border with Austria, is already a fixture as part of the Alpine World Cup, and it seems only right that it gets a summer workout too. The course is a little shorter than Leger, at 2.8 kilometres, but the good weather has made it a lot faster than last week's French mud bath. And anyway, this is one track with no speed limit. That might mean that Anne-Caroline Chasson, winner of the season opener, might face a bit more of a challenge from her rivals for the women's title. We're on course now with Elke Brutzart, the Schwinn Toyota rider. This is the section known as Hallelujah. Quite so sure about that, as Elke takes that very gingerly indeed. Decided to revert to her old style of riding for 1999. 1998, she was only 8th overall in the World Cup. She was disappointed with that. She said she was concentrating too much on her technique rather than her greatest asset, her strength and speed. You wouldn't guess it there, but she is very, very fast and very strong. Of course, going back, she won her first ever downhill World Cup downhill race. That was at Mont-Saint-Anne in 1994, and Elke Brutzart has never been out of the top 10 since then. In fact, 1998 was her lowest, but she's looking good at the moment, and she's got that time of Mercedes Gonzalez to beat, 5:16.67. Gonzalez qualifying really low in 27th spot, but came out with a blistering time, and I wonder if Brutzart's going to beat that. She's looking very good at the moment. She's pedaling really hard. 4:20 better than Gonzalez. An excellent run from Elke Brutzart. And Gonzalez going up to congratulate the American. An excellent ride. At the top of the course, this was Lee Donovan, recorded from earlier in her run. The intense cycles rider, pedaling furiously out of the gate on this 2.8 kilometre course. Drops by 550 metres. Donovan slightly disappointed with her result at Leger in the first round. She was only 8th there, just over 45 seconds slower than Anne-Caroline Chasson. But she doesn't like the mud, and it was wet and muddy there. And she misses the jump at the flipper, decides to go on the right-hand side there. Surprising from Donovan, because she is a very good jumper. Don't forget, we're still recorded here. Takes that jump well, though. And now we are live with Lee Donovan going into the Hallelujah section. The intense cycles rider now manages her own team, along with her mechanic boyfriend, Stickman. Donovan, a multinational champion from America. She's won the dual slalom in that country. She's won the downhill in that country, and looking good at the moment. She's got that time of Brutzart to beat of 5:12.47. On this course that is mainly very, very fast. Not a lot of single track, but fairly technical. The gradient, 20%. Donovan really is going to win the World Cup. She has to learn how to ride in the wet and mud. She's brilliant in the sun and looking very good at the moment. That time of 5:12.47 to beat. Donovan looking excellent on this bottom half of the course. The sun is shining for Donovan, and it's going to shine for her over the line. 6:42 better than Brutzart. An excellent run from Lee Donovan. She'll be very happy with that. We are back live with Catero, the Finnish rider, riding for GT Finland. Rode for Sintesi Velici in 1998, and of course that team folded. It was back in 1997 that Catero shocked the world, actually, by coming 3rd at the World Championships. It really was a surprise result there, but she's a very, very consistent rider. Technically good. Doesn't tend to have a weakness anywhere in her armoury. A lot like Marla Streb. Unfortunately, not riding the downhill. She was 3rd at Leger in the first round. Streb not riding here at Maribor. She injured herself in the duel. decided not to compete in the downhill, but Catero is, and she's looking good at the moment. That time of 5:06.05 to beat. I don't think she's going to beat that, though, but she's going to be close indeed, I'm sure. Her best ever result was last year at Big Bear. She came fourth. What's she going to do this year? 6:21 slower than Lee Donovan, but she's in second spot at the moment. Giovanna Benazzi very happy for the Finnish rider. And we're back with Anne-Caroline Chasson, second fastest in the qualifying this morning. This is recorded earlier from her run. Taking it quite easy out of the start gates, though. But this woman is super, super fast. Actually spent most of the winter off of her bike. She skied most of the time, off-piste. She does love skiing. A lot of weight training as well. And Caroline Chasson, will she take the jump? She takes it very well indeed. The only woman so far to have taken that jump well. This is the fastest part of the course, Blueberry Hill. Don't forget, we're still recorded earlier from her run. A good jump there from Chasson. So smooth. That time of Donovan to beat, 5:06.05. Chasson technically so gifted. Mentally strong. And we are live now. Chasson, that time to beat, 5:06.05. A brilliant run from Lee Donovan. And the French woman who won at Leger by a massive 17.23 seconds. It would have been even more if she hadn't have crashed. And she's looking, well, I never. Very good indeed here in Maribor on this 2.8 kilometre course. She is going to beat the time by Lee Donovan. I am sure of that. 7:30. Just under 7.5 seconds faster than Lee Donovan.
And she wears the Diesel UCI Leaders jersey just to prove it that she's had a great season thus far. And Caroline Chasson at 4:58.75.
Last to go was Missy Jove, but a puncture meant she could finish no better than 10th. Round 2 to Chasson.
I've got no secret. It was a very difficult race to win. You also need a bit of luck and the right mental attitude. But I don't have any secret. I'm trying hard, like everybody else.
Another champagne celebration with Anne-Caroline Chasson at the epicentre. That's 9 wins out of the last 10 and 2 out of 2 this year. It was an excellent second for Lee Donovan, and Catero, the GT rider from Finland, is showing her great consistency. Brutzart's 4th place is her best result for some time, while Missy Jove's foe's teammate Lisa Scher also ended up on the podium. Chasson is already miles clear in the overall standings, with Repo 200 points behind. Marla Streb didn't start the race and drops off the board, while Missy Jove falls to 4th. Winning a downhill, though, one such is Johan Engstrom. We're in the middle part of the course now with Engstrom, who usually likes conditions a lot different from here. Now at the Hallelujah section, he likes conditions which are wet, muddy and technical. But he does go well in the dry as well. He's a fast rider, expert in karate. He likes to hunt and fish as his hobbies as well. Something a little more relaxing than here at Maribor, Slovenia, for the downhill. Engstrom, who had a brilliant year last year, 6th overall in the World Cup and looking fast at the moment, transferred to the Volvo Cannondale team for 1999. The whole of the downhill squad on the Volvo Cannondale team changed, and he's got that time of Bastabeva to beat, 4:27.17, and almost takes himself out of contention there, but Engstrom going really quick indeed. And if he hadn't have had that, he might have been even faster, but he's 2:28 faster than Bastabeva. What a ride.
And the Swede with speed lives up to it.
Back now with Marcus Clausman, the man who was 2nd overall in the World Cup in his debut year in 1996. His first year as a senior. What a year that was. He won at the super technical track at Nevegal in Italy. Very, very good in all sorts of conditions. Marcus, still only 21 years old, has a fabulous record in World Championships and has actually only just recovered from a broken collarbone. He broke that at the first round of the Avalanche Cup in France. He's got that time of Engstrom to beat, a 4:24.89, and Clausman, the German rider, riding for B1, looking good as well. Doesn't make the same mistake as Engstrom made on that corner. Looking fast is Marcus Clausman, and fast he is indeed. 2:07 faster than Engstrom.
And we have a new leader with a very nice ride.
Back at the top of the course with Team GT rider Steve Peat, the winner of the first round in Leger. What a win that was as well. Just 0.16 of a second faster than Volvo Cannondale rider Cedric Gracier. Peat, looking good at the moment, has had a brilliant start to 1999. He's actually won his first 5 races. Won his first World Cup back last year in 1998 and takes the flipper really well indeed. Excellent jumping from Steve Peat and the crowd loving that. This is the fastest part of the course, Blueberry Hill. Peat riding the iDrive bike. He loves this bike. He says it's faster out of the corners. He's got that time of 4:22.82 to beat. That was Marcus Clausman, the B1 rider, and Peat sliding the bike into Hallelujah. He wants to win the World Cup, the Team GT rider, and is looking good for 1999. Wearing the #1 plate of Diesel UCI leader. Steve Peat looking fast and in control at the moment. The slowest part of the course on that corner. Technically, Peat loves the wet and mud, but he's equally at home in the dry and the fast conditions here of Slovenia. All of the riders loving this 2.8 kilometre course. Drops by about 550 metres, and he's looking good to beat the time of Marcus Clausman. Looking very, very good indeed. He's going to obliterate Klausman's time. Klausman's time, 4:22.82. Steve Peat beats it by 10 seconds, 10.11 seconds. What a run.
The silver medalist in the World Championships last year. He rides for
Back onto the fastest part of the course with yet another B1 rider, this time Gerwin Peters. We've had Basterbeva leading so far. We've had Marcus Clausman leading so far. Now, can Gerwin Peters beat that time set by Steve Peat? The tall, fast Dutchman, looking good at the moment. Really did come to some extraordinary form at the end of 1998. An amazing second in the World Championships. He was third in the last round at Arai, and takes the slowest part of the course, slower than Steve Peat there, noticeably slower. And he's going to have to go some to beat that time set by Steve Peat, 4:12.71. He might have to go some to beat the time of his teammate Marcus Clausman as well, 4:22.82. Clausman in second, Steve Peat in first, and Gerwin Peters is not going to beat the time set by Peat, but will he beat Klausman's time? I think he does, 4:21.95. He's over 9 seconds slower than Peat, though. He moves into second. We are with Oscar Says now, the Mountain Dew Specialised rider. Had a very, very disappointing run at Leger in the first round. Only 54 in those awful conditions. But Oscar Says can pull out some brilliant, brilliant runs. He did in the first round of the World Cup last year in South Africa. He had his best ever World Cup result of a third there in conditions actually very similar to those here, and on a course that was actually quite similar. Fast and dry, and Says looking smooth at the moment. He actually reminds me somewhat of Corrado Herrin, the Italian rider riding for Sintesi Velici. But Oscar Says, the Mountain Dew specialised rider, has got to beat the time of Steve Peat, 4:12.71. He's not going to do that. Can he beat that time of Gerwin Peters of 4:21.95? It might be close for the specialised rider. It's going to be very close indeed. 4:22.03. Oscar Says moves into third spot. We go back to the fastest man in the semis, Nicholas Vullios, the Team Sun rider, the 7-time world champion, looking as smooth as usual. My word, what a rider this guy is. Never come lower than first in the World Championships. The second man to do the World Cup and World Championship double after his compatriot Francois Gachet, and takes the flipper really well indeed there. Good jumping from Boulios. Not quite as wild as Steve Peat, but equally as high, equally as fast. The guy is looking excellent at the moment, really is controlled. Noticeably the smoothest rider on the circuit. Actually looks like he isn't really going that fast at all. He was disappointed with his run at Leger in the first round, only third there. 13.5 seconds slower than Steve Peat. But he knows the time that Steve Peat has set. He knows that time of 4:12.71. That's the time he has to beat. He had indications of that higher up on the course when he started, and he's looking a lot smoother than anyone else on this course. What can you say about this guy? He won his first World Cup race outside of France last year in South Africa and went on to win 4 out of 8 races. And he's going to be very close to the time set by Steve Peat. Steve Peat's time was superb in itself, but it looks like Nicolas Voulios' time is going to be even better than that. The man is out of the saddle, pumping really hard, 3:46 faster than Steve Peat. What a ride. Can't believe that win. My word, his first win of 1999. He's being congratulated there by Peat himself.
If I hadn't have known Steve's times, I really don't think I'd have ridden like this. I'd have finished the race with a similar time. Perhaps I'd have finished with a better one. But I took some risks, and I rode it 100%, and at least I managed to stay on my bike.
Last year's World Cup winner and world champion is back on top of a podium. And what a win. Peat's time had destroyed the rest of the field, whilst Gerwin Peters was third. 2 Mountain Dew Specialised riders ended up on the podium, and neither of them was Sean Palmer. He finished 11th. Peat retains his overall lead, though, as Peters moves up, and Palmer and Gracier, who wound up a disappointing 18th, drop back. Volvo Cannondale still topped the team standings, but there was some welcome relief for Team Sun. Voulios' win was their first of any description this season. Next week we're in Italy as the downhill and dual riders fly high above Nevegal. I'm Mark Bysiegel, and I'll see you then.